So verse 3, let me open the PowerPoint for verse 3. Where's that? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so I'll share the screen for verse 3 also, and I'll take you there. Okay, so the text 3 says, Utsaha Nishya Dhairyat, Tattat Karma Pravartanat, Sanga Tyagat Sato Vritti, Sadbhir Bhakti Prasidhyati. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to the regulated principles, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Okay. So now we were talking about the negative till now. Now we have moved to the positive. Okay. So now if you see in this verse how it is happening, it's teaching us to develop a good attitude. What is the attitude? Being utsaha nishcha dhairya. Utsaha, utsaha is being, what's the exact word Prabhupada is using for utsaha? Enthusiastic. Nishya is confidence and dhairya is patient. So that teaches us the attitude we have to keep in bhakti. What is the behavior we have to keep? Sangatyagat. Avoid wrong association. Then what kind of a character you should be? Character is, which is, where is that? Sanga, Tattat karma pravartanat. So tattat karma pravartanat means uh, doing activities that are favorable for bhakti. What's that? Where is it? Yes, acting according to regulative principles. That's what it is. So that's your character. And then direction. What direction should you be moving forward in bhakti? The direction that has been shown to us by devotees, right? That's the what it means. So those are the 6 things. So it teaches you your attitude. It's teaching you your behavior. It's teaching you character. It's teaching you direction. So all of that packed in one verse. So you can understand how intelligent Rupa Goswami is, who's written this verse. Right. Earlier verse was Vinishyati. It destroys your bhakti. Here it's Prasidhyati. It takes your bhakti forward. And Prabhupada is making a very categorical declaration here. He's saying that these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Right? So that's a very strong statement. And Prabhupada knows that by if you practice these sincerely, you will your bhakti will for sure be successful. Will become pure. Right? So we'll see in the beginning, right in the beginning, Prabhupada is telling us in the purport here. Where was that? I was reading something. That devotional, oh yeah, right, devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. So what does this mean? So Prabhupada's purport is focusing on the word cultivation. There's a purport because bhakti is a sort of cultivation he's talking about in here in this purport right here. Bhakti is a sort of cultivation. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. So it's not just something imaginative. No, it's not sentimental. It's physical there's activity involved in this. That's why Prabhupada is going to focus his whole purport on cultivation. It's not imaginative, not speculative. There was once a devotee, he went to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, I see a red light when I chant. And so he thought, oh, Prabhupada will praise me as if I'm becoming a self-realized soul or something. Prabhupada said, keep chanting, it will go away. Right? Some people come to the temple, they will dance ecstatically, they'll start crying, they'll roll on the ground, right? So you might think, oh, what an elevated devotee. But no, it's not necessary that person is elevated devotee. One such incident happened in a temple, and that person would just come, he would roll on the floor. And so devotees asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what should we do? Prabhupada, laughingly said, oh, just kick him. And if he immediately changes his demeanor, then understand that he's just an imposter, he's cheating. Obviously, I'm not asking you all to do that. Prabhupada can do it, you cannot, we cannot. Okay? But I'm just giving an example that some people pretend, right? So You have to understand that it's not just sentimental, it's not imaginative, it's an actual activity. You have to cultivate bhakti by following the regulated principles that Prabhupada has given us. Right? We need help from gurus, Shiksha and Diksha Guru. Right? Right? If a lady is pregnant and she's about to deliver and she's screaming in pain, if a if a lady who's not pregnant also starts screaming, doesn't mean that the non-pregnant lady will also deliver a child, right? No. Just by demonstrating ecstasy doesn't mean you'll become ecstatic in bhakti. If I lack potency or purity, I cannot show off. You know, it's all called imagine. That's why Prabhupada is calling it imaginative. So don't imitate, follow, follow and cultivate. Right? So intellectually, we might know that bhakti is good for me, but we lack an emotional connection. And that emotional connection happens by practical activity. A husband can continuously say to his wife, "Oh, I love you, I love you." But the moment she comes and sits with him, he starts looking at his phone. Now, is that love? No, that's not love. Right? You might say, "Oh, Krishna, I want to connect with you. I want to connect with you." The moment you sit down to chant, you open up your phone and you start looking, you scrolling on your phone. Is that bhakti? No, that's not bhakti. You're just trying to pretend to do bhakti. I'm not saying you all do it. I'm just giving examples. Right? So, and sometimes people start thinking, "Oh, bhakti is all about the heart. Oh, I saw Krishna playing today, playing his flute, you know." As Prabhupada warned us, that this is pseudo bhakti. This is an outcome of pride and gives you a sense that you have become an elevated devotee. Essence of bhakti is not some vision. It's about relationship centered around commitment. Bhakti is a feeling which is expressed through the commitment that you demonstrate towards that bhakti. Can you please mute yourself, whoever unmuted yourself? Please do that. Okay. Yes, so, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so don't imitate, follow and cultivate. Yes, that's what it is about. So, yeah, so understand it that way. So, bhakti is not about just an emotion, it's actual activity. So, its very basis is very practical activity. Mother is always ready to serve the child. So, authenticity of a mother's love is demonstrated in her sacrifice. She cannot just say, "Oh, I love my child," and sit in one room while the kid is crying in the other. No, that's not the right thing then. Prabhupada left Vrindavan, came to United States. He had every reason and right to stay in Vrindavan. But Prabhupada, his activity, it was his, that's why Prabhupada said devotional service. He didn't translate bhakti as just devotion. So understand that, keep that in mind. It's all about your activity and commitment in bhakti. If somebody comes and tells you, "Oh, you're being fanatical," no, just ignore that. Bhakti requires activity, physical activity is needed. That's how we cultivate bhakti. Right? So when you combine the word devotion and service, that means practical activity. We remember Krishna internally, and externally we use time and energy to serve in service. So right. So that's the whole essence of this verse. That's why I'm spending some time on it. That it has to be a physical activity. There has to be cultivation of bhakti. And the things that are given in this verse will help you do that. So Prabhupada is clearing all the misconceptions about bhakti, about devotional service. Right? So let's just look at each one of them individually. Utsaha. The first one is Utsaha. So Utsaha is the backbone of bhakti. Okay. Enthusiasm. So the word enthusiasm, it comes from two words. Or no, entheos. So entheos, it comes from a Greek word called entheos. So theos means God, and en means in. So when enthusiasm comes when there is God sitting in our heart and He inspires us to act energetically. That's then we get enthusiasm, right? So that's what enthusiasm means. And you'll notice that Prabhupada is going to quote a verse in here. Anya vilashita shunyam gyan karmadya navrittam anukulena krishnanushīlanam bhaktir uttama. So he's saying that topmost bhakti involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. Right? And Prabhupada will go on to quote examples. Let me see, where was that? He quotes, is it here? Yes, Prabhupada is giving examples here. He's giving an example of a dictaphone. Okay, that somebody invented a dictaphone for mundane subject matters, but Prabhupada used that phone for God service or to write Krishna conscious literature. Right. So everything is made of this material energy, and then we can use that for Krishna's service. Right. So everything is dependent on Krishna, and when we connect everything to Krishna and use it in Krishna's service, we become enthusiastic. Right. So enthusiasm means, Prabhupada says this in the purport, if I can find it somewhere. Endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness is called utsaha. When you are endeavoring and using your intelligence at the same time, then it's called utsaha. You get enthusiasm. And enthusiasm doesn't mean you replace your intelligence. It's not a replacement for intelligence. How to know if a devotee is enthusiastic? You know, some devotees you can see physically, right? They're jumping in this when the kirtan is happening. But that's not the measure of enthusiasm alone. Enthusiasm is expressed through sustained commitment. You have to show up every single day. I will do my rounds every single day. I will read books every single day. That's how we show our enthusiasm. Right? If I'm going to, let's say, if I'm driving to Virginia and I know this road is going to take me there, right? I will be enthusiastic, okay? But then I'll also have to be patient. That's why the word patient will come. Then I also have to have patience. And okay, yes, it's going to take me a few hours of driving. So I have to be patient also. But if I know that, okay, this road is for sure going to take me to Virginia, so my enthusiasm will be there. Oh yeah, I'm going to reach Virginia. I'm going to meet friends or whatever I'm going to do there. Right? So we expand our conception of devotion to include everything. So that's what the word enthusiasm means and is showing here. Right? When we have material enthusiasm, sometimes people will think, oh, I have enthusiasm in materialistic things. It's just a misdirected spiritual energy. Right? As we know, right, love can transform into lust in this material world. So same intensity, but in an opposite direction. So when you have become, or somebody has become enthusiastic for material things, you know, that means that the spiritual energy has been completely misdirected. Right. So you have to understand that how can you sustain that enthusiasm, that commitment, when you understand that I'm not here for my own pleasure. I'm here to serve Prabhupada. I'm here to serve Krishna. Right. And the best way of developing this attitude of enthusiasm is do menial services. Don't try to show off that, oh, I'll do that the big short services where I come into huge visibility in the temple. No, that's okay. That's good to do. However, if you do menial services where nobody is seeing you, that pleases Krishna a lot. That gives you that enthusiasm, Krishna from within the heart. So that's utsaha. Any comments or questions or thoughts about utsaha? All clear? Okay. Let's do nishchaya. So the word nishchaya, let's see what Prabhupada translates nishchaya as. I kind of forget the translation, so it's always good. Nishchaya, endeavoring with confidence. Okay, that's nishchaya. Right. So, not confidence in anything else, only in bhakti. Uh, I may not have devotion right now, but having that understanding that my efforts will bring results for sure. All the other things what people do in this world, the karmi, the jnani, the yogis, whatever they are, if they do not get higher taste, they become restless and they will fall down. So Nishchaya, and there's a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kare, Shrudrida Nishchaya. That when we start following what Krishna is telling us, then our determination, our confidence comes. right? So utsaha is for the activity, for the duty, right? And patience is for the results that we will get them. Okay. And so when we chant, we need to be enthusiastic to chant as attentively as possible. At the same time, we need to know that the process of purification is gradual. So we have to have that confidence. Once again, where does that confidence come from? It will come from reading Shastras again and again, hanging out with the right kind of people. So it comes from there, right? So it takes time, but it takes time. So you have to have patience also. That's where the third dhairya comes in, right? And Prabhupada's example is a good one. So who can tell me when did Prabhupada meet his Guru Maharaj for the first time? What year was that?
1932.
What's that? Can you repeat again?
1932.
1922. That's when he met. 1932, he got initiated. Yes. So yes, 1922. Which year did Prabhupada come to United States?
65.
1960, 1965. How many years from the first day he met his spiritual master and he got an order from his spiritual master that go and spread this message into the English speaking world? How many years for him to make that order a reality? 1922, 1965. How many years is that? 43 years. So Prabhupada is a very good example of how a devotee should have nishchaya dhairya. So utsaha nishchaya dhairya. Prabhupada never gave up. Initially, he was running his business. His business fell apart. Fine. His kids grew up. His daughters got married. He took sannyas. Okay. Sannyas, he went to his godbrothers. And he said, my Guru Maharaj has told me, so I want to spread this. Can you please help me? I want to go to the foreign countries, and say, none of his none of his godbrothers helped him. He set up a league of devotees in Jhansi, and he was kicked out of that place. He was asked to leave. Did Prabhupada give up his enthusiasm? No. If not for his enthusiasm, none of you would have been here. Understand it. Look at the gravity of the situation. You all are here listening to something. I'm able to speak something. I'm able to chant, take initiation, have some knowledge about Bhagavad Gita and share it with others only because Prabhupada didn't give up his nishchaya dhairya. So we should always keep Prabhupada in the center. Whether you can appreciate Krishna or not, okay, appreciate Prabhupada and Krishna will automatically come into your life. So yes, that was Prabhupada there. A tremendous enthusiasm in sharing the message of Krishna for the whole world. So endeavor with intelligence is Krishna consciousness. And same time, Prabhupada was patient as this. They're trying for decades and decades. Right? So okay. Whenever another example of Nishchaya can be the Pandavas. They went through so much. They were Duryodhana tried to burn them down. He stripped them of all the kingdom, asked them to go to the forest or whatnot. But they were confident that Krishna is always protecting them. Right? So Prabhupada tells that. That's because of the confidence in Krishna that they had. Right? So Nishchaya. So I told the first thing, Utsaha. Okay. Nishchaya is a product of understanding and imbibing. What does that mean? When you understand what you're hearing and you're imbibing it. How will it manifest in your real life? In the form of sadhana and seva. Sadhana means your devotional practices, and seva means service. Right? You will start behaving as an instrument, not thinking yourself as a doer. So that's the changes that you will see when you have nishchaya, when you are genuinely trying to understand and imbibe something in your life. There was once a Brahmana in South India. Mahaprabhu was traveling, and he saw that Brahmana. He was holding the Bhagavad Gita upside down, and he was crying. And many of the people sitting near him were laughing at him. Look at this illiterate guy. He's trying to read Bhagavad Gita. He was illiterate. So Mahaprabhu went and asked him, "Why are you crying?" He said, "My spiritual master told me to go and read Bhagavad Gita, and I don't know how to read. But whenever I see the picture of Krishna sitting on a chariot and Arjuna being the master of the chariot, it just makes me cry that how merciful my Lord is, that he's even ready to become a charioteer, which is a very lowly position for his devotee. So that's the nishya we all need. And that comes when we understand and imbibe the message that's been given to us. So when you have nishchaya, when you will have confidence, when your purpose will be strong, all your obstacles will become a learning experience in bhakti. There's one more story. There was one of Prabhupada's disciples, Yamuna Mataji. You all might know. She has written a couple of cook books. Some very, very amazing devotee. Once Prabhupada was going on a train in India. Yamuna Mataji was traveling with him. And suddenly Prabhupada said, I want to eat hot rice. Just imagine, it's a train in India, somewhere somewhere in a village or somewhere. A simple request, right? But then overcrowded, dusty, ashy, very long train speeding across India. Yamuna Mataji goes to the pantry. She says, I need to cook for my spiritual master. And the pantry guy looks at her and says, oh, are you crazy or something? You can't cook here. She said, if you don't let me cook rice for my spiritual master, I'm going to jump off this train, this running train, to death. And she said that with so much conviction and confidence that the person said, fine, you can cook for your spiritual master. So that's the confidence we all need. Prabhupada had this confidence in his disciples had that confidence in him. Right? And that confidence his disciples got because they were following exactly what Prabhupada was teaching them. No imagination, no speculation, to the dot what Prabhupada was teaching them. Okay, any comments or thoughts about this, Chair? Confidence. Whenever you read Prabhupada's purports, read it with humble, uh, humble query. Why is Prabhupada saying this? Why is Prabhupada referring to this verse? What does this phrase mean that Prabhupada is using here? And you'll realize every single word Prabhupada is saying is perfect. You need to do that to get confidence in bhakti. You will never get confidence if you keep doubting. Oh, Prabhupada might be, mistakenly said this. No. Or you can say, oh no, Krishna, he doesn't mean this. He means something else. No. If you really want to do bhakti sincerely, you want to become confident in bhakti, you have to read Prabhupada's books and read it in a way that you could understand them thoroughly. That will help you imbibe that, whatever you're reading. Okay, if nothing else, we can move to dhairya, which is the third thing. Right? So, utsaha, nishya, dhairya is being patient. So I talked about it, right? So patience is also an important integral part. Right? I gave you the example. If I'm driving to Virginia, yes, first of all, I have to have that enthusiasm that, oh yeah, I'm going to reach Virginia. I know this path is going to take me to Virginia. Then I should have the confidence, right? So that, oh yes, this path goes to Virginia. I know that. And then dhairya means that patience that, okay, yeah, it's going to take me a few hours to go to Virginia. Fine. So that patience also has to be there, right? So the word dhairya comes from dhira, which means sober, right? Somebody who can control his urges. So somebody who's able to subordinate his likes and dislikes for the purpose of his life can become patient, right? So confidence that this path is right, enthusiasm that okay, yes, I'm surely going to reach the end, and patience that it's not going to happen overnight. All these three comes from when you are clear on what the purpose is. Why are you doing all this? So bhakti is a cultivation, as Prabhupada has told us in this verse. Farmers, after sowing the seeds, they have to wait. That's very important. And yes, Achita.
Praji, is this the first two? Is that a linear process? Like first is Utsaha and then Dhairya? Because I mean, Utsaha basically it's basically I think you mentioned about being consistent in the activities. So consistency will bring enthusiasm, and then confidence will be from being enthusiastic and consistent. Is that like a linear process?
Being consistent and sincere will bring all the three things for you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the same order, Utsaha, Nishcha, Dhairya. You might develop patience, and when the patience develops, you will start reading. Let's say you're reading Bhagavatam, you come to the fifth canto, explanation of the universe, no clue what it means, but you keep reading it. So then that patience can develop that nishchaya, that determination, that confidence. So they are interrelated, but not necessarily in that same order. They can come in any way. However, the foundational setting is sincerity and consistency. With that, all these three things will come. Might be at different time points, might be simultaneously, who knows? But yeah, they will come for sure.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes. So dhairya, and then when you keep that concept of consistency and sincerity in bhakti, what happens is that eventually, even when things are not going your way, you don't get confused. You still are okay with that. Okay, no, this is something Krishna is trying to teach me something by this. Then this whole creation becomes a university for you, and everything happening to you becomes a lesson. Right? So it begins from that aspect of being sincere and consistent, and then eventually it blooms into all these qualities that you see in devotees. Be confident of Krishna's mercy. That's also a way of looking at it. That's going to come. When it's come, you cannot decide it, but it's going to come for sure. Then the next principle is Tattat Karma Pravartanat. Tattat Karma Pravartanat, Prabhupada translate this as acting according to the regulative principles. So that's an important thing. Just give me a second. I wanted to see if I have anything in the verse that I'm bringing out. Yeah, so we talked about this. What is bhakti and what is not bhakti? So bhakti is not sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Bhakti is a cultivation. Yes, we talked about that. Let's see if there's how to perform bhakti. There are 9 steps that have been given, and we have talked about it. And I think it's given in this here. Prabhupada is talking about those 9 steps. Where is that? Here, this verse: Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pad Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. Hearing, chanting, remembering the Lord. So those are the 9 steps. I want to see if I missed anything. Okay, so that's how we perform bhakti. Okay, and then what comes after that? These are the 6 qualities. Okay, so I think, yeah, I'm covering everything, not missing out anything. Just wanted to be sure. Let's go back to our verse. Tattat karma pravartana, acting according to regulative principles. So sometimes what happens, people, they manipulate the meaning just to be popular in masses. So the reason I'm bringing that out is because Prabhupada said realization means when you are able to take the message and present the exact same message in words that are favorable according to the time, place, and circumstance and the person whom you are speaking to. But that does not involve changing the meaning at all. So that is acting according to religious principle, right? When you neglect it, when you neglect those religious principles, it's a perfect recipe for disaster, right? So some people claim that religion was just created to bring about morality in the society. This is sort of a fear, right? So if there is no process, then people will just follow whatever their mind says, right? So, but when somebody practices religion without understanding the principles, they are merely just doing it to feel good. They're diluting the principles of religion, right? Somebody, I know many people tell me, I've heard this lot of number of times. Some people come and tell me, oh, I chant the name of God all day in my heart, right? So, but that's not the right understanding. That's not what the Shastras are telling us, right? The 6 Goswamis, which were the direct disciples of Mahaprabhu, they used to record everything. How many rounds they are chanting, how many times they're paying obeisances, how much book reading they're doing. Why? Because it's very easy for our mind to pull us away from religious principles. I chant the whole day, so I don't need to chant on beats. No. Unless you don't tell your mind exactly what you want and what you have to do, your mind can fool you at length. And it also leads to contamination. So, Prabhupada told us worship Krishna But somebody might come and say, oh, worship devtas. So that's distraction. Again, going against the religious principles. Right? So, and the whole process gets distorted. Right? Somebody might come and say, oh, I am God. You are God. Everybody is God. Okay, fine. You go be God. But Krishna is not teaching us that. Krishna teaches us that you are my part and parcel. That you are my part and parcel. 15th chapter, verse number 7, Krishna says that very clearly. That you have been eternally my part and parcel, O Arjun. So how can I be God? No. I am always Krishna's. I don't become Krishna. I can lost my thoughts. Yes. So that's Tat Karma Pravartana, right? So to make advancement in bhakti, there are some foundational principles. Discipline is very powerful, right? We have the ability and responsibility to discipline ourselves in bhakti. There should be a conscious control of your lifestyle. Regular, attentive, and goal-oriented. Prabhupada used to use that. Practice should be regular, attentive, and goal-oriented. And by these systematic practices, like the ones Prabhupada's given, like hearing, for example, hearing about how I don't belong here. What is my relationship with Krishna? I gain more and more faith in chanting. And I care less and less, and then I put less of my energy in this material world, in trying to arrange my situation in this material world. Right? So you have to lock yourself in the orbit, right? As they say that when they release a satellite, it has to go and lock itself in its orbit. So similarly, we also have to lock ourselves in that orbit where we are not distracted. We are following the religious principles, right? For that, we need to know our purpose. You have to prioritize Krishna and you have to be persistent. If you don't know where you are going, any road will take you there. The famous saying, right? If you don't know where you're going, every road will take you there. So set goals. Set goals for yourself. Map out your day. Don't just leave it randomly. Every night before you go to bed, okay, morning I'm going to wake up. First thing I'm going to do, I'm clean myself up. Then I'm going to sit down and shower. I'm going to sit down and chant. Then I'll read, and then I will hear. So give a plan to your mind before the mind gives you a plan. However, also keep in mind your sadhana has to be according to your capacity and your taste. Don't do more, don't do less than your capacity. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this in his book Chaitanya Shikshamrita, that when you keep your foot on your ladder, or only take the next step when you have fixed on that first. Otherwise, you'll fall down. Right? You keep your firm feet on one rung of the ladder and then go to the next. But what might happen is that once you reach on one rung of the ladder, you might don't even want to take the next step. So that's also not appropriate. So not more than your capacity, not less than your capacity. Small, consistent steps. Smallest victory is still a victory. Right? And when you keep getting those small victories, it gives you self-esteem and it gives you momentum in bhakti. Right? So that's tat karma pravartanat. Any thoughts or comments on that? 8. No?
Could you repeat what the practice should be? Regular, goal-oriented, and what was the other one?
Regular, attentive, and goal-oriented.
Attentive.
Attentive, yes. By regular, what I mean, you have to do it every day. Not like I will do 60 rounds today and then for the rest of the week I won't do anything. No. Better you do whatever your capacity is today and you keep doing it every day. Regular. It has to be attentive. Attentive means not that you have to be perfect. Whatever attention you can garner and gather, just put that into it. And always have a goal. I told you about that app. 5 pages a day I will read. That's it. I'll forget about the whole Bhagavatam. Just those 5 pages are my goal. So goal-oriented. So yes, regular, attentive, and goal-oriented. And then you will keep on seeing victories, and those victories will add on to your self-esteem and momentum in your goal towards bhakti. Okay.
But if you're not clear about the goal in bhakti, you know that you want to continue serving even meaningless services. But if you don't have a huge, like a big clear picture, I just want to read 5 pages a day. Maybe that's the goal, short term. But oh, I want to be a temple president, or I want to give a lecture in a place, or that kind of goal. If you don't have it, eventually Krishna will take you wherever you need to be with your service, the background of everything that you have done. But how would you explain when you don't have a clear, like, I mean, of course, our goal is to paramgatim, like the destination, the ultimate destination, going back to Godhead. But if you don't have a material goal in bhakti, how would you explain?
Well, you mentioned a couple of goals, right? I'll be a temple president or something of that sort. But if you create goals which are not under your control, it'll be frustrating. That's one thing. Your goal should be in the way that I want to be a servant of Krishna. I want to be a servant of my guru, of my spiritual master, of Prabhupada. If you keep that as a goal, then Krishna can arrange your life accordingly. But if you make a goal that I want to serve my spiritual master by being a temple president, that is something that you're going beyond your capacity. That's not in your capacity. There are so many other factors there. But if you keep your goal as being a servant, then everything will be accordingly. Everything will be arranged accordingly. So don't make your goal in a way that it becomes out of your control. You can make a goal that I will read my 5 pages every day, or a bigger goal that, okay, I want to become a servant of my spiritual master, and then probably your spiritual master might give you some goals, some services to do. But don't put the horse, I would say the cart in front of the horse by saying that, okay, this is what I want to attain, and then my guru should give it to me or Krishna should give it to me. Don't do it that. Don't invest your energies.
Clear. Thank you so much.
Don't invest your energy in trying to create situations and aspiring for those situations. Just be in a service mode. Service is under your control. That's the only thing under your control. And when you aspire for service, then Krishna can give you everything. He'll make you temple president. He'll give you billions of dollars to run and use for Krishna's service. Look at Prabhupada's life. He didn't have any money when he landed in Boston, but he was a billionaire. ISKCON had, it was like billions of dollars passing through his hand. But his goal was to serve his spiritual master, nothing else. That's all. So yeah, make that as a goal. And then probably Krishna can make you a temple president someday. That's his choice. Don't put that as a goal. Don't put that as a criteria. Okay, so we are at 8:30. I'll take a pause here because we'll start Sangha Tyaga next week. I'm kind of off in this. I'll try to be more aligned and do that one verse in every class. That was my desire I was hoping for, but we have questions. That's a good thing too. Right, so we'll start from Sangha Tyaga next week. Any last minute comments, questions, thoughts, anything? Anyone?